Balls are back.
Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get a dog right now. Everybody worry about the crown big. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a PI, kind of time we on. Don't roll like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit rewind. Yeah, she wants to do S class. I'm like, boo, who are you must ask? They pour way too much in your glass. Just move your hips like a whole up class. Hit the gab, I talk that gap. Strut like up and I walk that shit. When I'm up, that's it. I'ma start living reckless. Get that bag, I'ma walk like this. Yeah, I'ma walk like this. Hit that lane, I'ma walk like this. Walk in the spot, but they all get lit. Toilet bowl flow, let me talk my shit. Every song bang when they drop in hit. Said on the man, post stop, no miss. Over your head, next time, don't slip. Play your part, better read that script. Yeah, I'ma walk like this.
Da 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 da! You already know what time it is. I think you're all too well aware what time it is. It is time for another edition of the Vol-Star Podcast. Welcome, everybody. I accidentally started a second stream. See, I'm using OBS, so whenever I hit start stream and it's not connected to a specific stream key, then it'll just start like the selection show thing, which is something I set up off a whim. So that's my bad, but I deleted it. So now everybody who was watching that stream for whatever reason, now they should be over here on the Vol-Star Podcast. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're all having a great Monday night. Lot to go over tonight. Jam-packed filled weekend when it comes to Tennessee news. We're at episode 94, I believe. We're not that far away from the ending of this podcast, and that does make me sad. But I do plan to go out with the bang, and you guys will see all too soon what I mean by that. We got some people in here, of course. My two co-hosts, Mr. Wolverine over there, or Wool Chantrine, because he's a Chanticleer fan now, because Tennessee was too bad to make it to Omaha. How are you doing, good sir?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I mean, Coastal Carolina won yesterday, so and I see already people starting to super chat about me.
Off the bat, all right. Not JFKH, good to see you, but good sir. $5 super chat says, "Hey Wolverine, where's that money you were talking about earlier?" Ooh, you gonna take that?
I don't know who Wolverine is. This is Wool Chantrine, buddy.
Yeah, way to deflect. All right, over to my other co-host down there in the corner, Mr. Julio Rodriguez. What's going on with you tonight, buddy? How you doing?
Nothing much, same as always, but also I'm very happy because Coastal Carolina is winning. The only thing I'm a little depressed about is Arkansas eliminating Murray State.
Oh, yeah?
That's really about it.
Yeah, that's painful. That's painful. Tough for Murray State to go down. I'm right there with you. Now, down there, right below me, is, you might recognize this man, both if you've been a subscriber for a long time here on Squidtard Sports, but also if you were here 2 weeks ago. That is Mr. ACP Carter 45. He joined us 2 weeks ago, but his internet was going completely beep boop, so we had some complications with that. Luckily, though, it seems to be fixed, and he is here with us tonight on the podcast. For real this time. How are you doing, good sir?
Man, I am happy to be here. You know, I'm an OG Tardarian refugee from way back when. You know, I've known you for a long time. Been on YouTube for a long time. Haven't been on lately, but you know, we go way back, and I'm happy my internet seems to be working right now. Now we'll see what happens throughout the show, but so far so good. I came in here a few minutes before the show to see how it was doing. It's doing pretty good, so let's get right into it.
I hear ya. All right, well, we got some people in here already. We'll go ahead and answer the comments real fast. Goob is here. What's up, buddy? Yeah, I know I made the wrong thing live. Fixed that pretty quick. Young Man Connor, where's the playoff selection reaction? It'll come in due time. Razorbacks rule, congratulations on the win today. No hitter, yeah, we saw that. Pretty much perfect game, besides that one error that you had. Other than that, yeah, really, really good game by Arkansas. Yeah, good for y'all. 1998, yep, great year. Great, phenomenal year even. Yeah. All right, guys, well, let's go ahead and roll into some of the topics for tonight. So, I guess we'll start out here. We got to talk about the football real quick. Let's talk about that. We'll go on kind of to go down the sports We'll talk about Tennessee's football recruiting cycle. Guess what, fellas? We have recruiting news, believe it or not. I know, crazy, stunning news even, I'd have to say. But yes, we do have recruiting news here. And starts out with this guy right here, this fellow individual, right, that you see on the screen right there. Mr. Luke Thompson of the 2026 recruiting class. He is a 3-star athlete from Franklin High School in Tennessee. And, well, safety, he committed to Tennessee as of recently. Nationally ranked number 48 athlete in the class of 2026 and the 19th overall player within Tennessee according to composite rankings. So good to have him on the team, but that's not all. Yes, you heard it here first, fellas. We have multiple players committed today. Great news. Big time news even. This guy right here. And none of you will recognize him, but the moment I say his name, some of you might. 2027 3-star Mr. Robert Peace. He's actually the grandson, believe it or not, of legendary Tennessee coach and athletic director for that short time period, which we won't talk about. But he was a Tennessee coach that we all know too well, Mr. Philip Fulmer. This guy is the grandson of that specific individual. So we got some pieces going for us, got some stuff for the program. It's good to see. I'm really glad we're finally getting some sort of development, and hopefully that continues. These guys don't hit the transfer portal like Nico did. So that's all. I mean, that's really all of the recruiting news. There is something else though, and this I thought was pretty interesting too. The Tennessee Vols are showing high amounts of interest in recruiting the son of Charles Woodson. Now imagine that.
Wow.
The son of Charles Woodson, which you would imagine Charles Woodson Jr., he is interested in Tennessee according to what his Twitter page says. Now I know you can't, it's hard to go off of Twitter and be like, oh, he's coming to Tennessee, but believe it or not, there is some news to go off of. So I'm going to highlight that real quick. Let me see if I can get this on the screen real fast. Yeah, look at this Twitter post. Woo.
Wow.
I'll present it for you guys too. I forget I have to present it for both the people, and then I've got to present it here on the StreamYard as well. Bam. All right. But yeah, this was a post that came out yesterday, and I mean, if he chooses to join us, then by all means, I'm really happy about that. But you know, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
And going back to Robert Peace, Squid, you know, you said he's actually a 3rd-generation Vol. His grandfather, Philip Fulmer, played and coached, but his dad was Robert Peace, who played for Fulmer in the early 2000s, was a linebacker at Tennessee. So,
Yeah. Would it not be hilarious if Charles Woodson Jr. stole a Heisman from a Michigan player?
That would be pretty funny. But what is he rated as? Does anybody know? Is he like a 3-star? Like what is he doing?
I don't know. I can look it up really quick.
I'll check.
All right, well, whatever he is, I'd love to have him around. That's all I can really say about that. Yeah. All right, well, there is another.
He's a 4-star.
Oh, 4-star. 3-star U narratives are dying right off of that as well. Ooh, yikes. Scary. Boo. Ooh. Imagine saying 3-star U and then we win 10 games. Ooh, crazy. That's almost as many as the supposed 5-star gods of the universe. Ooh, big yikes. All right, anyway. Enough of that. Let's roll into something else I've got pulled up here. And this I thought was pretty interesting, too. So, obviously, Tennessee hosted a key round of official visits. They had a big visiting day, and a lot of recruits were interested in being a part of that, including 5-star wide receivers committed to LSU, Tristan Keys, number 3 overall player nationally and top 2026 receiver. He spent last weekend over on Rocky Top, and he took a few photos and a video of him dressed up in all orange gear. So I'm not going to be here and be like, oh, he's totally joining Tennessee, but I mean, it's something. I mean, you guys can easily find the video over on Twitter, but it's him dressed up in all the Tennessee gear, wearing the number 5 as Hendon Hooker wore. I would love to have him on the squad, but I'm not calling anything yet.
I mean, all I'm just gonna say, nothing's official until he signs the dotted line. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right. Well, we got him. Of course, there's who. These are all the players who are interested. If 4-star wide receiver Chris Stewart, who's committed to Texas right now, he also visited Tennessee throughout this weekend. And not like I expect any of these players to flip, but it sure would be nice. I sure can hold on to some sort of hope that we get that under control. The recruiting isn't in a bad situation necessarily. I mean, as long as we don't lose somebody like Faison Brandon, our recruiting situation is going to be absolutely fine. But in this new age of college football, how much does recruiting really matter, though?
I mean, it's of course still matters quite a bit. I mean, you still need to get some key players in there. But of course,
Yeah.
the transfer portal and everything, it doesn't matter as much as it did back then.
Would
To be
you
honest, I
say
feel
that the
like
portal is more important than just straight up recruiting?
I'd probably say the portal probably
Yeah.
is more important than recruiting, to be honest with you.
I think they have.
I
You
agree.
got it. I think it has to have some sort of equal balance because you can't go all in on recruiting. I mean, you can go all in on recruiting. That would be a great thing to do. But more than likely, especially if you pick up a whole bunch of players, some of those are probably going to hit the transfer portal. I think a healthy balance between recruiting and then patching holes through the transfer portal is the best way to go about it. We're seeing teams that utilize only the transfer portal completely collapse after 1 year because you can't establish a program off of only the transfer portal. Sure, you can build them up for a year, but once all those players go on, what do you do after that?
The portal is supposed to be meant for like one or two pieces that you're lacking, like or something. That's what it's meant to be. It's meant to like, hey, you're kind of you're thin on your offensive line, so you're going to get a couple guys to fill in some spots. That's what it's meant for, but that's not what everyone's using it for. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, the thing is though, if you even were to, let's say, like, patch stuff up, which is like, in the portal with like you just said, the offensive line, practically they get paid premium for any offensive lineman that gets in the portal, especially if they're good. Like you better dish out some money for them, because if you don't, then you're not going to get them. And then all the linemen that are in there, that are leftovers for a reason. I mean, you might be able to scout one gym or whatever every now and again, but for the most part, a lot of those players are in there just because they're not good enough for the level they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Throughout the entire time of the transfer portal, the main thing about it is using it to patch holes on your roster or build existing talent
hmm
and basically make it better. It's not you can't make an entire team out of players in the transfer portal because all you're doing is basically saying the same. Literally, all you're doing is just building one team after the next. The next year's team is going to be completely different from the team previous, and that's going to screw over. I mean, we've seen it with Florida State. Florida State 2023, one of the best teams in the nation, and then after all the good players like Jared Verse, Jordan Travis, and Keon Coleman, once they bounced out, he had to do Mike Norvell to do it again, build the entire thing from the ground upwards, and he did not have the same fortune that he did the previous year.
No.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing is that had he focused more on recruiting and developing the players he had, and then just got some of the pieces like you just said, he got some of those pieces, but he also relied a lot more. I mean, a lot more players that were big contributors, and just because of that, they had a down year because it's just too focused on the portal. Like you said before, you have to have a good balance between developing your young talent, but then also maybe your freshman's not ready to be put out there or whatever, no matter what position he plays. Like, to be honest, I don't really like playing David Sanders as a freshman, even though he's a 5-star, because if he doesn't do good, then we might shoot his confidence, and that can be very bad. And I
Telling
don't
the
want that
facts
to
as they
happen.
are.
But
I
we have to go over what happened because we didn't decide not to really pay for that many people in the portal. I mean, we got Pendleton, but we didn't
um,
get a tackle, we got a guard.
imagine this for a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that. All right, Squidtard, you're a high school kid, football player, and your whole life since middle school, you've been told how great you are, how you're the best. You got all these yes people around you telling you you're great at this, you're great at that. You're going to be, whatever. And then you get to like a college. Let's say you go to like North Carolina, for instance. Then you're told, oh, you're not that good. And you don't get no playing time. What are you going to do after you've been told your whole life how great you are? You're going to leave
Mm-hmm.
because you think, oh, I'm better than this. They don't want me to. They're not going to let me play. It
Yeah,
can't be
Viper
because of my
Technician.
ability.
Viper
Yeah.
Technician, he's talking about it in the chat right now. Tennessee having a fun time recruiting. Texas Tech and Iowa State absolutely are not. Texas Tech is going like completely all in. They're doing the Florida State thing. They're going all in on the transfer portal. And to their credit, they actually managed to get some really good players out of the portal. They just picked up Micah Hudson from A&M. I mean, and they've been doing a lot of work on both sides of the football. I see no reason why they shouldn't be a front runner for the Big 12 this year. So going into 2025,
Wait, did you say Mike?
all the cards are on Texas Tech. 2026 though,
Yeah.
what
Wait,
that's the concern. What are
wait.
they going to
So
do
did
after 26? Julio, you were in the middle of saying something.
wait? Did you say Micah? All I was gonna ask was, did you say Micah Hudson? So he transferred
Yeah,
back to Texas Tech
yeah, he's back
because
at
that's where he
Texas Tech.
started out at.
Yeah, no, he was there, and then he went to A&M,
Yeah.
and
See
M,
what
and
I'm
now he's
talking?
back.
I don't know. I'm
See, this is the portal. I
See,
mean, I
something I
probably
always
shouldn't
love to
talk
bring
trash
up
after what happened with.
Something I always love to bring up is the story of Caden Proctor, that guy from Alabama, the
Yeah.
offensive lineman. Bro, literally, he was at Alabama, okay? Then over I think the 22, 23 off, I think it was the 23 off season, he transferred to Iowa because they gave him a huge bag to go there. He takes the money, then transfers right back to Alabama. Literally, basically full on finessed the entire university, got their money, and took it right back. I don't know how he made it through that without getting a lawsuit. That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we probably shouldn't talk too much trash about it, because Brew McCoy also kind of did that. He was the first transfer portal problem child where he kept on transferring between USC and Texas, and some of that
Texas
wasn't his fault, but you know,
Texas Tech is out here spending some serious money, man. They're trying to buy a championship just like, Ohio State did. They're trying to build that roster off of money right
Well, that's
now.
what a lot of teams are doing. Some people forget
Yeah,
to mention this, and people get on Ohio State about the only takes $20 million to win a national championship. That's not all it takes. The coaching is a huge part of it too, because Oregon
of
spent more money
course.
than Ohio State did. Oregon spent
Yeah.
23 million, and look at what Ohio State did to them in the playoffs. So it doesn't come down to all of that. It comes down to preparation, teamwork, and of course coaching. So it's not the entire ordeal,
well,
but it does. Getting the best talent on the team does obviously play a huge part in that. And I'm never saying
uh,
that.
another thing that comes into is finding players that fit in your system and stuff like that. Like for example, Ohio State, perfect player for their system, Jeremiah Smith, and you see where that got him.
Right.
So, I mean, he was the one that almost damn near carried him to a national championship just because he's that good. I don't know what the hell he was doing in the Michigan game or whatever, but
Yeah.
this
Good
just
Coaching
question. Yeah.
plays
Good
a huge
solidified
answer for
him.
part.
that.
Coaching plays a huge part, man. Think about it like this. Think about the 2016 Tennessee team, all those talented players. Could you imagine if Heupel had coached that team? Or I don't know, just any coach outside of Butch Jones.
Oh, for sure. Right. Yeah, no, there's plenty of examples of that. Look at A&M's team. A&M finished with the #1 recruiting class in 22. Sorry, Goob, to throw more strays at y'all, but we're on this conversation, so it's warranted. But remember A&M's 22 class? Literally the best class of all time. And did they even make a bowl? They didn't even make a bowl game that year.
Yeah, I
And
don't think
all
they
their
did.
players hit the portal. So, yeah. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
It's definitely not the whole story.
I remember their
I
biggest
remember
hit was. Go on, Julio.
All I was gonna say, if I remember from that class, didn't they have like almost like all of the top 5 linemen in the country, like defensive linemen?
Yeah, I
They
know
got,
they
like,
got
the
Bolton
top-
one, and then he
Yeah,
transferred.
they got
on
like
to
the
us.
Yeah, they got like all the top like linemen off. I think all of the top defensive linemen, and people like, yeah, A&M's just trying to outspend everybody, which they did. But it didn't really do much because, to be honest, I feel like they were just going for who had the highest stars and not who actually fit their system. Also, they also didn't pay attention to character issues because a lot of those players had character issues. Especially, I think what was it? One of their corners, Denver Harris. I think he's transferred like 4 times or something like that from that class. So he was a hell of a player back then. But
Exactly. Well, unless if there's anything else you guys want to talk about football wise, we can go ahead and move on to the baseballs or the basketballs. I mean, because there is some basketball news this week, actually. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
You wouldn't believe it. First off, though, I did want to talk about this one more thing about football, and I thought this was pretty interesting. ESPN dropped their future power rankings, so like where they think the programs will stand in the future, and it placed Tennessee at 9th nationally, so top 10. So according to ESPN, Tennessee will be a top 10 program in the future. Uh-oh, that's gonna make a lot of people mad.
Wait, is this for basketball or football?
Football.
Basketball, yeah, or football.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I said
football.
basketball. My mind's on that. But yes, it is. It's football.
I mean, okay. I mean, I'll take being a top 10 program. It's a lot better.
I mean, they have us being better than Bama.
Yeah, maybe it's that ESPN SEC bias. SEC bias. Oh, you can hear the crying over at Tank Conference. And Clemson's pretty high up there, so they've got that to look forward to.
My question is, how is SMU not better? How do they not have more money? It's practically just a rich person's school.
I'm sure they do. They just don't have near what the highest top tier programs have. But they're definitely on the rise. They have the talent and the ability to be like probably one of the best programs in the future in the ACC. How that'll pan out, I have no clue. But they have all the ability in the world to be up there in that upper echelon of the ACC. All right, so the basketball news for this week is, go ahead, Julio. I don't know why there was such a delay on that.
I was just gonna say that I was just kind of making fun of him a little bit. I mean, I probably shouldn't, but the thing is, just after all the stuff they talked about Penn State, and then they got there and absolutely shit the bed, which I understand it's in Happy Valley, but
right. Okay then. Well, over to basketball. We do have some news in regards to, well, this applies to both the Lady Vols and the men's team, but they announced the ACC SEC basketball challenge, and where both of our teams will be playing. So the Lady Vols will be playing at Stanford, and that's going to be pretty interesting, I think. It's going to be a neat little matchup here. Here's all the matchups. I'm going to put them on the screen right here. Got some pretty interesting ones in the women's. Kentucky at Miami, Georgia at Florida State, Georgia Tech at Texas A&M. And if you guys know anything about the ACC last year, and this applies to both, they weren't very good at all. So I imagine we're going to have a pretty fun time when it comes time for that. But, yeah, Tennessee at Stanford on December 3rd. That's a matchup I'm pretty sure Tennessee should be able to win. I've got a lot of hope for Kim Caldwell and the Lady Vols going forward. They're one of the best teams, I think. Out of all of our teams in all of our sports, I think our Lady Vols has the most potential. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I mean,
I honestly think they could be a top 10 team this year. I mean, they bring in a really good transfer class. They bring in a really good recruiting class as well, the number one recruiting class, I believe. And I'll have to see our schedule, though. I mean, of course, it's going to be tough in the SEC, though, because you still, of course, got Texas in there. You still got South Carolina, who's, of course, usually a top 5 team every single year. But I mean, we'll see. I definitely believe in Kim Caldwell. She has us playing a lot better than the last few years I've seen with Kelly Harper.
Oh, for sure.
all I was gonna say is that I don't know. I think it's between the women's basketball program and baseball. I mean, I know we had kind of a down year, but our down year is like 40. What was our record? Like 46-17 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, if I remember, I think that was a record. So, I mean, if that's a down year where we're practically only like 4 or 5 wins shy of a 50-win season, and so, I mean, I'll take that. But yeah, I think right now, I think basketball's probably got the higher ceiling probably next year. I don't, I don't really know. Like y'all said, though, I don't thought we had the number 1 class, but I think it's like top 3. I thought it was like top 3 or top 5. I didn't know it was number 1, maybe.
Something
All
like that,
right.
yeah. And over in the men's basketball challenge, of course, like we were talking about earlier, they announced these at the same time. So Tennessee over in men's is scheduled to visit Syracuse, and that's going to be a fun matchup. I love the orange v orange type of idea that we got going here. And I like how they picked Syracuse specifically because, obviously, we're playing them at the start of the year in football, so might as well play them in basketball, too, get that 2-0 advantage on them. But, yeah, we're playing them on December 2nd on Tuesday, and I imagine that Tennessee should take care of business there. And it's a lot of the similar matchups. Georgia's playing Florida State again. This time Miami's playing Ole Miss. Duke and Florida are going to be playing, and that's going to be a really fun game, I think. North Carolina, Kentucky, A&M at Pitt, Clemson at Alabama. That's going to be a really good game, I think. And Virginia at Texas. I don't know about you guys, but I think we should be able to run through Tank Conference like poo-poo through a tin horn. That's just my idea, but what do you think?
I think we should be able to beat Syracuse, and then of course for the rest of the SEC, I don't care how they do against the ACC.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd rather us be the only SEC team that wins.
Yeah, me too.
Telling it like it is.
Before I guess we move on from this, I wanted to say one thing that does worry me with Kim Caldwell. She kind of struggles with whoever the Kentucky coach is. I don't know what his name is. I think he used to coach Virginia Tech, but his name's kind of but she seems to struggle against him for some reason, like all in her career, because I think she lost her last game. It's not anything to that Marshall. But she got blown out of Virginia Tech by them, which I expect that. But then she got blown out, whenever Kentucky. I think we had a better team than Kentucky both times, and we, lost. So.
Yeah, no, weird how that works out, but yeah, I had trouble hearing what you were saying because Lucas was in the middle of making a grilled cheese sandwich like you were that one time. But
Nah, I was making an ice cream sandwich. What are you talking about?
with what material?
I don't know every material that I have here.
Hopefully it wasn't anything pertaining to this. I'm gonna hold that against you until the end of time. By the way, I hope you know that.
All right, I said I was making an ice cream sandwich. I didn't say I was
Hold
baking
on.
a cake.
Sorry, the people couldn't see that. Let me show it to them again. There you go.
Again, I said I was making an ice cream sandwich. I didn't say I was baking a cake.
What's going on, Neo? Good to see you, buddy. Been a while since you've been on here. Glad to see you, man. Yeah. All right. Well, over to baseball. We do have some news there too, and it's both good news and bad news. Firstly, the good news is Garrett Wright transfer from Bowling Green. Yes, Bowling Green of all places. He has made his commitment to the University of Tennessee. He was named to the All-MAC first team and All-MAC defensive team for the past 2 seasons, in addition to being named MAC Defensive Player of the Year this season. He holds Bowling Green's single-season records for doubles and hit by pitches, and he's got a career record for hit by pitch. So obviously a huge piece for Tony Vitello and company. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's definitely a pretty good get. I mean, he was, of course, the best player on Bowling Green's team, and he was the best player in the MAC. So it's definitely a good get for the team. Hopefully, he should be able to start for us next year, because I would imagine, is Cannon Peebles, is he going to be back? I can't remember.
I doubt it, but I'll fact check that.
I don't think he's got any more eligibility.
Oh yeah, then yeah, he'll definitely be starting. But yeah, a good thing too. I don't. And you said he does play catcher, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. One
do you know
win defensive player of the year for a reason.
No.
Oh, okay. Wait, he's a good defensive catcher?
Yeah.
Oh,
all right,
that's
definitely what we need.
I figured that's instantly where Vitello would be going. We're looking to patch a hole on the team. You think about Tennessee's biggest weakness overall on the baseball team, and you're like, oh, I wonder what that would be. We all know what it is.
Yeah,
So,
stolen bases.
There you go.
We dearly miss Cal Stark. I used to talk trash about him, but how much I missed him this year.
Yeah,
Quite a
Cal
few players
Stark,
have
man.
missed.
I remember a lot of people was talking trash about how bad he was hitting in the 23 season. I remember people saying he was hitting very bad in 23 season. 24 season, he definitely got a lot better at hitting the baseball.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it was just him finally getting reps, but also another reason we had him is because he was so great defensively. He kind of made up for it.
Yeah.
He didn't let people steal bases. Also, I mean, another thing that kept him in 2024 is that whenever he hit home runs, he hit them at the right time. He was clutch.
Mm-hmm. For example, the game 2 against A&M.
Yeah, that's the biggest example.
Good times. Remember that? Remember when we were in Omaha and then we won it? Great times.
Yeah, great times. Something Arkansas will never do.
Well, yeah, you're gonna jinx it. I'm telling you, dude, you're gonna jinx it.
Listen, man, all I'm gonna say is I've been talking on this channel about Coastal Carolina. Look how they're doing right now. They're 2-0.
And the way you're talking, they're going to get beat by Arkansas in the national championship. Then we're going to come back on this, and you're going to be eating those words. I'm telling you. That's how it's going to go.
No, I'm not. Coastal's winning the championship. Everybody,
Dude, you're a Tennessee fan. You're a Tennessee fan. You should know that whatever you say optimistically, the opposite's going to happen. Carter, I'm sure you can agree with that.
Dude, I've said multiple things optimistically, and the opposite never happened.
Right, I'm calling cap on that.
It's not cap, but I mean, you go ahead and do you, I guess. I mean,
a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
There you go. I'm telling you, you're gonna end up jinxing either Coastal or Arkansas in both bad ways. I mean, Arkansas technically in a good way, but you get the idea. Bad for us specifically.
Well, fine then. What do you want me to do? You want me to come on here and say, "Oh, Coastal Carolina's not winning the national championship. Arkansas is winning it all." Is that what you want me to do?
To be honest, I don't really care who wins the national championship, just as long as it's not Arkansas or LSU.
Yeah, I think you're out of luck.
I don't. Yeah.
One of them's making it to the title game.
Probably, but I hate conference pride. I hate SEC conference pride. I only cheer for one team from the SEC. Everyone else can die and just lose every game. I don't want to see anybody other than the team with the power T on their helmet win anything in the SEC.
I see this a lot
Exactly.
in the Discord too. We got our college football Squidtard Discord. It's in the description, by the way, if you're not in there. Great, we have a great time in there. But anyway, I see a lot of people come in there every so often, and I'll see somebody because you can the moment you get in there, people ask, or like the moderators ask, which team are you a fan of? And you'll have somebody give one team, or sometimes people will be like, this is my Power 5 team. And then I'm also a fan of a G5 team. Like, I'm a fan of, Kentucky
That's
and
gross.
Akron. And then you have these people, these absolute degenerates who come in and they're like, well, I am a fan of Arkansas, Florida, Florida State, Iowa State, and Michigan. And I'm like, what? What's your story behind that? And they're like, well, you see, my grandma's referee's pet goldfish was once a fan
Oh my
of the
Lord.
Michigan Wolverine. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. It bothers me so much when people are fans of teams specifically because that somebody they know from a distant relative is a fan of that team. So now they have to be diehard fans of that team along with the team that they're an actual fan of. You have to.
They were probably abused as children too.
Yeah. You got to be a fan of one team and one team only. There can be exceptions, like being a fan of a group of 5 team along with being a fan of your Power 5 team. But you can't be a fan of 2 Power 5 teams, especially from the same conference. And there are people I know who are fans of literally rivals, like rival teams. We know somebody, Carter, who's a fan of of all the schools in Georgia. Georgia
Yeah.
Tech, Georgia Southern, Georgia State. No, no. That's not how it works. Because you know what happens is the moment one of those teams sucks, the moment they start just being absolute liquid diarrhea, they instantly pivot to the other one. Where it's like, well, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if Iowa's trash. I've got Ohio State. So, no, yeah, that's why it bothers me so much, because they're able to pivot to another team the moment one of them starts playing bad. And I'm like, no, you got to ride or die with the team that you chose from birth. That's all there is to it, buddy. I'm not. Yeah.
I'll say this. You want me to tell you what fans piss me off the most? Now, this is just a personal thing, but Vol Cats.
Oh
You know what I'm
yes,
talking about.
yes.
Or the Vol Devils that root for Duke in basketball, or Vol Heels that root for North Carolina. It's like I hate you so much.
Not gonna lie.
Please.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to be a Vol Devil. I used to root for Duke in basketball.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Bad. Do not be
Hey,
him.
I mean,
Bad.
we all make do stupid things when we were little.
You don't have
be
to
honest-
hate. You don't have to hate every single school, including the ones that you play against from time to time. You don't have to hate every single other school. You can like other schools. Like I like LSU, for example, for the reason that most of my dad's side of the family is from Alexandria. Thus, yeah, and I've been to Tiger Stadium, so I like LSU. But that does not mean I'm a fan of LSU. That doesn't mean the moment Tennessee starts playing like garbage, I'm instantly gonna come on here and be like, "Oi, fellow comrades! It's Squidtard Tiger Sports on the Tiger LSU Mike the Tiger podcast." No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna come on here and ride with my team and cry that we're 0-12 or whatever I have to do. That's all there is to it.
No, I'm just switching over and becoming another fan of another team.
Well, you do it from time to time, Lucas. You were Wool Duckery not too long ago.
Well, dude, I have like a favorite team for every single conference.
See, this is the problem. You can't do that.
It's not like we're rivals, dude.
Well, Tennessee may be trash, but at least the Ducks are performing well. Yeah, you can't do that.
That's
I
actually
do
how I
got
was the other day.
I do got a question though. So like for example, let's just say you're a Tennessee fan, but for some reason, Tennessee, doesn't offer you a scholarship outside of high school. You're not an athlete or anything, but you attend a different university that's a Power
Uh-oh.
Five. Would should you be allowed to root for them since you attended that university?
I think you should. I think, say, listen, you grew up. Let's say you grew up like, we'll just say a Wake Forest fan, even though that's impossible because there are no such thing as Wake Forest fans. But then, of course, you get older and then you go to college and you go to college at, let's say, Michigan State. I feel like it's fair that you become a fan of the school that you actually attended.
That's fair.
Like I feel like that's fair.
There are exceptions to that rule, though. Like, for example, my good friend, you guys see him on here, Ryan. He's a Florida fan. Every so often, he'll mention this. He's a Carter's back, and he's got a new profile picture. What's going on, Carter? Welcome back.
I'm trying to fix my headset. Hold on.
Oh, that's fair. No worries. But yeah, Ryan is a Florida fan, diehard Florida fan, but he is actually a student at Florida State. So there are exceptions to the rule. Like he's a biggest Florida State hater I know, but he attends the school. So as weird as that is, that's kind of how it goes. And I mean, there are other examples I can find too.
I mean, I remember Quincy Sports, if you know who he is. He used to do vlogs all the time and go to like IU basketball games, and then he had a friend who went to IU because, of course, he also goes to IU. If you didn't know,
Yeah.
But yeah, he has a friend who goes to IU with him, and his friend's a Purdue fan.
Isn't he the radio voice of Illinois now or Indiana? Like one of the radio voices there.
Maybe, I don't know. I know he does like a radio voice for like, I think like a youth team or high school team or something.
Oh, okay. I haven't talked
He
to him
does-
in a long time. I might have to bring him
Yeah,
on
he-
once we start up the new show.
Yeah, he does something like that. But I know he, of course, used to also do a podcast, and it was, of course, like an actual like podcast thing.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of the people that we've known for years and years now, back in like 2018, dating up till now, like for example, like me, I'm still here on the YouTube, and there are a lot of people that I've known back in 2018 who were doing YouTube back then who are still doing YouTube to this day. Some people do YouTube, take a long break, and then years down the line, they come back on YouTube. Quincy Bell's one example, and there are others. Tiger War Eagle is another one of people who do YouTube for a while, and then their YouTube interests eventually pan to something different. But it falls in line with what they do here on YouTube. So I'm glad to see Quincy Bell's doing that. And, you got Tiger War Eagle, who's he's also a radio host on... I think he does commentary for some of the games there. There are plenty of other examples I can find. I really want to know what happened to CBT, the Duke fan. Yes, his name was CBT. That's what he called himself. But his name was College Basketball Talk. It's not the one you're thinking of. It's College Basketball Talk was his name. Great guy. I miss him.
Yeah, but anyways, shout out to Quincy because he was actually a really good person, and of course he was also a Tennessee fan because his grandfather played at UT.
Mm-hmm. So he was an Indiana fan, and he liked Tennessee. That's how it works now. Just so we're clear.
He goes to IU, so I'll let him have it because he actually goes to IU.
Well, Indiana. So what I'm saying is that he's a primary Indiana fan, but he likes Tennessee. That's how it should be.
Yeah, I know he used to be a Michigan State fan. I don't know he don't even really talk about Michigan State anymore. I don't know what happened to that.
We don't count that. We don't. All right. Anyway, so we did talk about Garrett Wright and how he committed to Tennessee. Well, unfortunately, we did have a loss along the way. We had a few losses, a couple of transfers. But one in particular is Mr. Dylan Loy. He hit the transfer portal, and he's off to wherever he goes. He finished the season with 34 innings, 36 strikeouts. He played a big role in a lot of our games, so we're going to miss him, I think. Big-time loss right there for the squad. Womp womp. You guys don't seem too torn up about it, though.
I mean, I guess I can see why he transferred or whatever. I mean, we didn't play him, a lot, but I mean, we also have had a lot of depth on the pitching.
That's true.
I feel like the thing that hurt our pitching was just Cannon Peebles couldn't catch anything to save his life half the time.
It's I'll say this: it's far from the worst transfer that we've had this
anyone
week or past week. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that, shall we? Pivoting over to Tennessee softball for a minute, we did lose a significant part of our team, and this obviously came as a huge surprise out of nowhere, but we figured out exactly why not too long afterwards. Miss Taylor Pennell, she went ahead and hit the transfer portal. She was our infielder, was definitely going to start. She was a two-time All-SEC first team selection. Big part of the team, and sucks to lose her. Obviously, right after she hit the transfer portal, she committed to Texas Tech. So we don't really have to guess exactly what exactly happened.
Yeah, Texas Tech and softball is just hitting the portal like hard right now, and honestly, Texas Tech, you could argue that entering next season that they might be the favorites to win it all.
Yeah, I mean that's where they got their star pitcher, that Kennedy or whatever, how you say her name.
Which one's worse, do y'all think? This or Chase Burns bouncing over to Wake Forest?
Got to be Chase Burns going to Wake.
Chase Burns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because screw Wake Forest and their pitching lab.
Oh. It's just because Wake Forest is ass, is what I'm hearing, right?
Yes.
Fair
and plus,
enough.
screw their head coach, too.
Fair enough. Kara Weekly actually had a big thing to say about it. 2 weeks ago, most of All Nation was back on the train, but she did have something to say about it. I think we all agree on two things. One, women making money in sports is awesome and long overdue. And then number two, contacting players directly or indirectly before their season ends and signing them to NIL deals before they enter the portal is wrong. Speaking facts right there. It's hard to disagree with that one, no matter how you think about Karen Weekly. Definitely hard to disagree with that fact. So, yep. Unfortunately, that's not how the world works now. Ain't much you can do about that at the end of the day.
Yeah. It sucks, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, well, we'll build back stronger. That's how it works at the end of the day. We're going to build. We're going to reload our roster in softball. And then hopefully we'll make another run at the World Series because I think we can win another championship in that. Have we ever won a championship in softball?
We have not.
No.
With how little people talk about that fact as much as they did baseball. Because remember, before we won our championship in baseball, it was like Lucas with Arkansas on steroids. Because all we were hearing was, "Oh, the dude sucked. Freaking Tennessee ain't even won a national championship." But we aren't even hearing that with softball. So I wonder what that's about. Yeah.
It's because softball is dominated by it. So if you look at like the softball championships, it's mostly been dominated by like Arizona, UCLA, Oklahoma, and then like some other schools I can't remember. So those are like it's only been dominated by like a couple schools. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, quick update here. We'll pivot back to baseball for a second. Been watching obviously the College World Series bracket right now. LSU and UCLA are in a big time dogfight. It's 5-3 Tigers, so bad news for a lot of us.
Yeah,
nobody wants an SEC national championship.
The game's delayed right now. Hopefully, UCLA was up 3-0 to start the game, and then they just let LSU take the lead and bottom of the first because I don't know, they just kept giving up base hits.
Yeah, I was wondering why it was only the end of the third. I was like, wait a minute. Didn't the game start at 7 o'clock? It's been 2 hours and they're just now hitting the end of the third. There's something wrong here. And yeah, figured as much. Weather delay. That could
Hopefully, it's
screw
still
over
that weather
somebody.
delay.
Yeah, that could screw
Yeah,
over somebody.
Hopefully, it's LSU.
Right, exactly. Well, Carter, I did want to ask you this. I don't think you got your chance last stream. We like to do this with every single person that comes on here on the show, and so that they can give their prediction for the team. And first of all, I have to ask, do you know Tennessee's schedule this year in football? Like off the top of your head?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So with that being said, where do you predict Tennessee going? To give you some context as to what we think, or at least what Vol Nation generally thinks, the consensus is, I think Tennessee's win percentage is, I think it's 9.5 or 8.5. Went down because of
8.5.
Nico. Yeah, it went down because of Nico. It's at 8.5. So are you going? Are you buying or selling that? Do you think Tennessee goes beyond that or below that?
Okay, so man, I I think they're right at it. Um, I really don't see losing Nico as that big of a loss. I mean, I don't know. I think the offense that Hyper runs, it can be successful for most quarterbacks. Um, what we saw out of Nico last year, it didn't blow me away. Uh, so I think I know the guy Joey Aguilar, coming in has threw a lot of interceptions. But the type of offense we run, I don't think he'll have near as many. I could see them winning, 9-3 this year. I think at worst 8-4, at best 10-2. So I'm gonna go 9-3.
All right. Well, yeah, 9-3. So with that being said, where do you think our losses stand? Who do you think we lose to?
Uh, you know, People are gonna jump and say, "Oh, hop on the road." But going into the swamp, late in the year, that's going to be a tough matchup. Uh, Playing in Bryant Denny, I think that's going to be tough.
Oh yeah.
And that third loss probably could be to like possibly a Georgia. I hope not. I hope if you tell me, hey, you got to get one of these three, of course, I've always looked at Bama as the biggest rival, but it'd be nice to see him finally get that Georgia,
Oh yeah.
monkey off his back.
That's the one I
So,
want the most, obviously. Again, a lot of Tennessee fans don't agree with me because of obvious reasons, but I do. I hate Georgia more than anybody else. Legitimately,
mhm.
they are their own tier of just awful. I cannot stand them if my life depended on it. So yeah, I want Georgia more than anybody this year. And to think about it,
I understand that.
if we beat who we're supposed to, but still lose to Alabama and Florida, that's not the end of the world. We're supposed to be sitting pretty at 10-2, probably make the playoffs at that point. My issue would be if we do what we do every year and basically piss ourselves against a team we're absolutely not supposed to. And that's been the consensus under Heupel. Every
Yeah.
single year he's been here, he's had one of these SEC road games where it just looks completely lost. The team just goes completely dark, and they flop like a fish and die. At some point, we got to have a season where that's no longer a problem. Teams have bad games. I mean, look at the stuff that's happened to teams like Ohio State, lost to Michigan, 7-5 Michigan. I mean, there's plenty of other examples that you can give, but that's the
Yeah.
problem, is that there are a lot of people assuming that we are an elite team, an elite program. We are a great program right now. This team is great, but in order to get to that level of elite, losing these games we're not supposed to on the road is the only way, really the best way to go about that.
Sure, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree with you.
Super Nuclear says, imagine if that's against Kentucky. It's not out of the possibility. Now, again, Kentucky's one team that we always dominate, no matter what happens. So,
Yeah.
if I put my money
Kentucky's
on
gonna be really
anybody,
rough this year, I think.
yeah.
To be honest, if I had to guess, like which team, like a random loss could come to, I know this is gonna sound insane, but Mississippi State
I'm right there with
away.
you on that one. I do. I agree with you on that. Mississippi State's at it's the 5th game of the year, just like Arkansas was. It's sort of after, it's after the Georgia game. Then we play UAB. Then we play them on the road. It's just at a tricky point in the season. I could definitely see in that being the one that gets us.
I'm more worried about Oklahoma. You know.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma's definitely gonna be a better team this year.
Well, I mean, I expect Oklahoma to be hard. Like,
Yeah.
even though Oklahoma wasn't that good last year, we still had a knockdown, drag out brawl with them. I mean, we came out and won on the road, but it's just
Yeah. I think Oklahoma, while they are going to be better at most positions than they were last year, as long as they don't have that wide receiver collapse they did at the beginning of the season, this time they're going to be a much more improved team. I think the biggest concern with them is their offensive line. That would be my biggest concern as an Oklahoma fan, because you've got a better quarterback, better running back, Jaden, I like him, better receivers. You've got a great team coming in, but that O-line would be my biggest concern right now if I'm Oklahoma. So, if Tennessee's D-line is having a great game in that situation, then more than likely I think we will take care of business against Oklahoma. That's my thought. I think we play way better there. Julio, what happened? You're echoing again.
Oh, sorry, it's my headphones died.
Again.
With I hate to do it, but man, I gotta run. Enjoyed you letting me come on the show, man. But unfortunately, all I can give you is an hour. Gotta be up early in the
I hear
morning,
ya.
like
We're-
3 a.m. So
We're about to call it wraps as well. So appreciate you being on here tonight, Carter.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And yeah, man. Well, I guess we'll. Is it possible you can stick around for a bit at the end of the show?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and call it wraps here on the show tonight. It's 9 o'clock. Guys, we'll be back next week. No idea who the guest is. We'll see in due time. I'll let you guys know in advance, whatever the deal may be. Love each and every one of y'all. 14 people in here right now. We got 5 more episodes, or actually 6 more episodes until we end this podcast and move on to something else. So I'll let you guys know about what I plan for episode 100. We're going to have a limited edition Volstar podcast wear. Probably more clothes items than just a shirt. So we'll see how it goes. Lucas, Julio, any final words from you guys before we call it wraps?
Go Vols, tighten up, and of course, go Shants.
Yeah, it's, same thing. Just instead of tighten up, go Cowboys. That's it.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. I knew what you were gonna say.
The NFL isn't for another 3 months, so y'all gotta chill. Well, technically 2 because preseason, but it doesn't matter. All of our teams are gonna be trash anyway.
Not the Titans. Not the Titans. Not the Titans.
We're not doing this tonight.
No. The Titans are gonna be good this year, man.
All right. All right, fellas. Well, appreciate y'all for being on here tonight. Love each and every one of y'all. We'll see y'all next week for the Volstar podcast. And for those of you tuning into the Dynasty streams, I got stuff for you there as well. By the way, newest video upcoming. You guys have requested it. I am doing another conference exposure video. You guys love the ACC one so much. Now we're putting all of the exposition over on the Big 12. So you guys stay tuned for that. Love each and every one of you guys. As always, power to Tardaria, but more importantly, for the sake of this stream, go Big Orange.